I'm Matt Bishar with NAREIT.com here at the Wynn Las Vegas for REITWorld 2015, NAREIT's annual convention for all things REIT. Joining me for this CEO Spotlight is Justin Knight, President and CEO of APLE Hospitality REIT. Justin, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Now, your company targets the select service extended stay niche of the market. Why the focus on this particular market, and how is it performing compared to other segments of the industry?
It's a good question. Really, we selected the particular segment of the hotel industry because of the broad consumer appeal for the product and the simple operating model, which yields over time strong operating performance in the form of margins and stable performance over time. We've proven that particular segment of the industry over multiple cycles and really continue to focus there as it's the best fit for our investors.
Now, what's been the biggest change in the company and your day-to-day focus since your company's listing on the NYSE earlier this year?
So we listed in May, and while a number of our shareholders have changed over that period of time, operationally very little has changed. We continue to focus on a strategy that's been successful for us over over a decade and a half, over multiple cycles. Focusing on select service that we mentioned before, exclusive focus on Hilton and Marriott branded product, broad geographic diversification, and layering on top of that very little debt to maintain a risk profile that appeals to shareholders and we think is a good fit for today's economic climate.
Now, you've continued to grow and expand the company that your father founded. What's the biggest lesson that you learned from him, and what's the biggest difference in your leadership styles?
Obviously, my father's been a big influence on me, both personally and professionally. We've worked together professionally for almost 2 decades now. I was fortunate within Apple to have joined the company in its infancy, and together with a talented group of executives, senior executives, developed the strategy and then executed against that strategy and refined it over time. My father and I attack issues slightly differently, but we share a commitment to really achieving and maximizing shareholder value over time in a low-risk environment.
And lastly, newer models like Airbnb have made some noise. Do you think that these new forms of lodging are going to be a competitor long-term, or what impact will they have on the market?
Airbnb and similar models have been a topic of conversation for a while now. And there's certainly something we watch. Because of the broad geographic diversification of our portfolio, we've seen limited impact to date in terms of occupancy or rate for our hotels. That being said, it's something that we're paying a lot of attention to as it has had some impact in high-density markets. And really our focus in the near term is to ensure that operators in that space are as conscientious and are held to the same standards in the way of safety and service that we are as hoteliers.
Great. Justin, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
For more from REITworld 2015, be sure to visit REIT.com.